Well, Senate Republicans will vote on their tax reform bill after Thanksgiving, but there's still debate over whether to repealing the Obamacare individual mandate in order to get this bill to President Trump's desk.
This isn't a bargaining chip. The president thinks we should get rid of it. I think we should get rid of it. It's an unfair tax on poor people.
So is dropping the mandate the only way to get the bill passed? Here to weigh in, former White House Deputy Brad Blakeman. Happy Monday, Brad.
Hey, good morning.
All right, if you look into your crystal ball, do you see the final version of tax reform, the version that hits the president's desk? Does that include the repeal of the Obamacare individual mandate?
I sure hope so, but I think you have to look at the tax bill in the macro sense. There's a lot of moving parts here. There are rates, there are deductions, there's timing. How long are these rates going to apply for? Who does it apply to? Corporate, personal. The main thing I think with the tax bill is to make sure that it meets the projected targets, not only that the White House has put in, but also within the budget reconciliation. Because remember, in order to use reconciliation, it must act within the four corners of the budget resolution, which was already passed, and it should not add to the deficit. These are the real sticking points. But yes, as somebody who is relying on Obamacare, I want to see it go because it's not only increased my premiums, but it's also limited my choices.
And if you get rid of it, you can bring in over a decade at least $300 billion. So that brings me to Senator Susan Collins of Maine. She has concerns about a few things. One is the repeal of the individual mandate. She said, look, if you're not going to repeal it, at least try to fix Obamacare. But she also suggests that maybe the Senate version should look more like the House version of tax reform. And I say that with respect to her suggestion to keep the 39.6% top personal tax rate. Do you think the Senate bill needs to look more like the House bill in order to pass?
Well, it certainly would help, because it would ensure that we have the House's support when it goes into reconciliation parameters of the budget. But in addition, when it goes to conference, the House bill has to be a conference with the Senate bill before it's voted on again. The less arguments that we have between the two bodies, the best. So yeah, if it can mirror the House bill, which we know is already passed, and it looks pretty good. I think the White House was very happy with not only the rates but the deductions. But there's going to be some horse trading, certainly with regard to deductions for personal exemptions like home mortgages and state and local taxes. There's enough room here for compromise. Right. That's the important thing.
And do you see any Democrats finally getting on board?
No, this is going to be, if it's passed at all, and my opinion is it will be passed before Christmas, we're not going to have any Democrats supporting this bill.
Oh, and these are the GOP senators that are on the fence. Susan Collins, like we said, Jeff Flake, the president says he's a no, Bob Corker, James Lankford, and perhaps some others as well. So with no Democrats, we're cautiously optimistic, or are you optimistic?
I'm very optimistic because Republicans understand that if we don't pass generational tax reform this year, coming into the midterms in 2018, the Republicans are going to have nothing to run on except empty promises. Promises made must be promises delivered.
And Lindsey Graham warned about that last week. He said if Republicans don't do this, they're in trouble. Brad, so good to see you. Thank you.
Pleasure.